producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
It's time to steer the line.
Touchdown!
Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud Esmond, Christian Giordani, Rocky Giordani, and Jeremy James. Bet on us to make you a better better.
What?
Let's get ready to steer the line.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another segment of Steer the Line. I am Christian Giordani. We have Mr. Loud Esmond and Mr. Jeremy James. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
Doing good. Staying out the heat.
Yeah, it's hot. I'm out here in Mexicali, 121 degrees.
Ooh.
Jeremy, what is it in Apple Valley?
It ain't 121, I can tell you that, but it's 104 at the moment. So,
What's the temperature here? Around 85?
brag
Almost 85. Almost 85.
Pacific Northwest.
about it.
All right.
Well, I mean, I never liked the weather in Southern California. It's just too hot for me. A lot of great friends, many great years, but this is more my temperature, the Pacific Northwest. So that's where I am now. All right, let's get right to it. Where do we want to start? Hopkins?
DeAndre Hopkins.
All right, let's start
get
with
right into it. I got a lot to say about it.
Get right into the news.
So we all know DeAndre Hopkins left one poverty franchise, the Arizona Cardinals, to go to a contender, somewhere where he can, get a ring and be a champion. Then he goes out to the Tennessee Titans. And you want to talk about mediocrity, that's the definition of mediocrity.
You know what, though? I mean, when you look at Tennessee, yeah, it's not what anyone would really expect. But when you look at Tennessee, he does have on the other side a playoff-worthy defense. They've got a good defense in Tennessee. They still can run the ball until, the man can't anymore.
Derrick Henry.
Until he just breaks down, he can probably still put up 1,500 yards. And you got both a veteran quarterback and, a rookie who may see some time playing here if he outplays the veteran. And he adds a lot. He makes that offense a lot different. Now they have a true number one for Tannehill to throw to and, to take some pressure off the young receivers. I'm not saying they're Super Bowl bound or anything, but this might keep them in the hunt against Jacksonville for that division. I think their defense is good enough, and a weapon like him could be enough to help Tannehill have at least one more solid season.
Yeah. You know me, last year I said D-Hop was top 10. In my opinion, you can put him anywhere from top 15 to top 20 now. But let's get into the logistics of it, the contract-wise.
Hang on. I want to point out one thing before moving on.
Go ahead.
Over the last 6 years, the Titans have made the playoffs 4 times, 2 following a division title, and they've won more than one game in the playoffs twice in the past 6 years. I believe, didn't they go to an AFC championship game a couple of years ago?
They did, when Mariota was their quarterback, I believe.
So, look.
They're well coached.
Oh, yeah. Mike Vrabel's one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. I think he's great. Their defense, by the way, I overperceive how good their defense is because I looked at the stats, and they were 15th last year. But a lot of that could probably be attributed to when your offense sucks and you're one-dimensional. Your defense is on the field a lot, and they had injuries.
Yeah.
So, well-coached. The quarterback is mediocre. Derrick Henry's a beast. And I think, wouldn't we say DeAndre Hopkins is the best receiver that Ryan Tannehill's ever had at Tennessee?
Yeah. Oh, well, he had A.J. Brown.
Yeah, it's arguable because he did have A.J. Brown, but it was before A.J.'s big breakout season last year to show what he could really do to this league.
Yeah,
but arguably, yeah, he would probably be overall the best receiver he's had.
Okay. So you take the Titans, who have a good defense, strong foundation, good coaching, and you add arguably one of the top 5 receivers in the NFL, a true number 1, takes the pressure off the rookie who had a good year last year. I don't remember what they have at tight end.
I know their number 3 wide receiver right now is I believe Bobby Trees. Robert Woods. He had an okay season last year.
Robert Woods did great for me a couple of fantasy football seasons.
Yeah, he had like 886 receiving yards with a handful of touchdowns.
They have a promising young tight end who came on at the end of last season, whose name I cannot pronounce.
Yeah, it's just not coming to me.
It's like Okafrawata. I don't know, but he's a talented
Okafor.
kid. Something like that.
Okafor. Yeah.
So they do have some pieces there to stay, I think, in the playoff hunt in that division.
Let's look at that division. Colts. Anybody calling them a playoff team?
No,
not with their quarterback. Not this year.
Yeah, I mean their QBs are Gardner Minshew. Minshew and the rookie.
Yeah, Richardson.
And Richardson. Yeah, Anthony Richardson, who knows? I mean, Anthony Richardson, all the athletic talent in the world, his completion percentage at Florida last year was around 50%.
Yeah.
If you're completing 50% of your passes in college football, I mean, he's going to have to do with Josh Allen. Remember, everybody said, Josh Allen can't hit the broadside of a barn. Well, he was playing with guys at Wyoming. Okay? So, I'll give him a pass a little bit there. But Anthony Richardson had great receivers, and he played at the Florida Gators. So I'm a little concerned about how he's going to translate.
He's going to be Cam Newton 2.0, in my opinion. Very similar build, very similar play style, very similar path going into the NFL as well.
So we'll see what happens there, but they're going to start the season with Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, but I think the rookie will end up seeing more time than anything because he's going to get people excited with some explosive big plays here and there with his legs and his arm.
If they're smart, they sit it. If they're smart, they sit in the whole season. But I think with you, I think halfway through the season, it's going to be pretty bleak, and he's going to have to play. And I don't think that's going to be.
He'll probably come in week 6.
Texans.
They got a good rookie quarterback, second pick in the draft. All right defense, but
a lot of holes.
Yeah, I don't see them going
a lot
anywhere.
of holes still.
No, they're still a few seasons away.
I think 4 games, maybe 4 games.
They got some talent. They've got to bring it together.
The other team in the division is the Jaguars,
who got even better.
Yeah, they got better
this year. By adding, Calvin Ridley. I think if he can truly come back and do what he did a couple of years ago as the number 1 guy in Atlanta, that he's a game changer for
the
Trevor
Jaguars
Lawrence and that
defense.
Team.
The Jaguars defense got gashed last year a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to outscore everybody. Now, if I think this is going to come down to the Titans and the Jaguars when they play each other, because they're going to play a very similar schedule.
Yeah.
So if one of those 2 teams sweeps the other, that might be the difference. Because I think the Titans, they're going to run the ball. They're going to play great defense. They're going to be disciplined. They're not going to hurt themselves. And if Tannehill doesn't have to carry the load, I think you've got a winning formula there. The Jaguars, they're going to try to light it up on the scoreboard. So those are going to be 2 really interesting games when those 2 play each other. Would you say that with DeAndre Hopkins, Jeremy, the chance that the Titans go to the playoffs is improved?
Yeah, I believe so. Like I say, he's the kind of wide receiver who's still got plenty in him, I think. And, he's playing with a veteran quarterback and a really good veteran running back and a great coach. So he's going to add a lot to that team. And I think, it's going to be the Tennessee defense is going to be the best defense in that division. And then you got the Jaguars offense. And I think, like you said, I think it's going to now become a battle between those 2 teams because Tennessee's going to be able to score a lot more. And, the play action is going to be a lot more open as well with a guy like, with the receivers I got now. So definitely.
Yeah. It's interesting. This is a betting show, right?
Yes.
All right. So we were all talking about what would happen to the team's over-under win total that ended up picking DeAndre Hopkins, getting Hopkins. We were talking, well, if he goes to the Patriots, do they go from 6.5 to 8? Well, I didn't see the Titans coming, so I never asked the question, what if he goes to the Titans? But, Christian, take a guess at what happened when DeAndre Hopkins went to the Titans, to the Titans number of over-under 7.5 wins.
Over under 7.5. It might have gone up to 9 or 10, or did it go down?
Jeremy?
I'm going to say it probably went to 8.5, 9 wins.
Didn't budge.
Really?
Stayed at 7.5.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to play more than 8 games. He hasn't in the past 2 seasons. He's, 33 now?
I thought he was 31.
31 still. He's over the hump. He's in the twilight.
I think he's still got, he may miss a game or two, but if he stays relatively healthy, I think he'll do a lot to help this team. I think he is worth an extra win or two in that offense now.
I'm shocked that the number didn't move at all. I thought at least a half a game, but nothing. So the boys in Vegas know something we don't.
Now, is it a good contract though? It's 2 years, 26 mil. That could be up to 32 with incentives. So that's about $13 million a season for an arguable top 10 receiver.
Yeah, why not?
Well, why not?
He probably, if he were younger, he'd get more. But at his age and what he's done the last few seasons, but the potential he does bring to that team, I think it's a perfectly fine contract, especially since Titans had the room to do so.
And guess what? Ryan Tannehill's contract is up at the end of this year. Yeah. And they're not extending him.
And they got the kid.
They got the rookie.
Will Levis.
Will Levis, yep.
Will Levis.
Yeah. Levis.
Who, by the way, I think if you're going to take a prototypical who was the most prototypical specimen to be a long-term NFL quarterback, Will Levis checks all the boxes. He just had a bad senior season after transferring for his super senior season. So we'll see. But like I said, going into the draft, I liked Will Levis more than a couple of people that went before him. So we'll see what happens. But if you have a rookie quarterback next year, which is what's going to happen, Tannehill's going to be gone, Will Levis is going to be starting, having a senior citizen great receiver will be a great help to a quarterback who's trying to find his way. All right. Speaking of trying to find a way, a couple of interesting running back situations in the NFL between Saquon and Josh Jacobs, Christian.
Yeah, all of them are heading to their social medias. And I wouldn't say complaining, but they're voicing their opinions on how the running back market is right now and how undervalued they seem to feel.
Can we say less than pleased, Jeremy?
Yeah, and it's legitimate, complaints, I believe, that they have, lost out on some money and their contracts have been less and less. I mean, if you look at how I saw it on one of the shows, they were, listing the franchise tag for all the positions, and over the last 7 years,
runs away with it. Yeah.
Over the last 7 years, the running back has not only not gone up, it's gone down compared to everybody else. They're almost there with kickers at this point.
Right.
There's kickers making more money in the NFL right now than some of the running backs. It's kind of crazy.
And you know what? A lot of GMs are very open about it. They're very expendable. They're willing to, get these guys in the first, second to fourth round picks and run them out for 4 years and then let them test free agency and just put in another rookie into the system.
Is it nuts that nobody has signed Dalvin Cook?
It is nuts.
I think that's on him, though. I think he's waiting till closer to training camp, maybe even after camp starts, see if there's like a big injury or something where he can jump in. But then I think he'll pick a team within the next couple of weeks here. But, you know, what really gets me about those two running backs that we're just talking about, Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley, it's crazy that they didn't get deals done with those teams, because those teams had to realize they would not have had anywhere near the success they had.
Oh, they're both arguably the best player on their team.
Especially the Giants. They don't go to the playoffs, and Danny Dimes doesn't look anywhere near that good without the season Saquon Barkley had last year. They don't go to the playoffs, and they don't win a game either.
The Raiders don't do anything like what they did last year without the contributions of Derek Carr.
No.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, you did. All right.
Moving on.
But both of those offenses ran through those running backs, and the fact that those teams couldn't figure it out and get them back on the field is insane, especially in Barkley's case.
Everybody's comparing Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs' situation to Le'Veon Bell. And they're saying, oh, look what happened. Le'Veon Bell sat out a whole season. He got a monster contract, but then he was nothing like it. He was a shell of himself, and he never really made all that money because there were options and blah, blah, blah. I think Le'Veon Bell, honestly, was a knucklehead. And he was into his rap music and this and that. And, Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs are not Le'Veon Bell. I think either one of them could sit out a full season and then come back and I would make the argument, if I was them, I could sit out a season and I could come back next year and go looking for a 3 to 4 year contract for $45 to $60 million with a team that needs a running back, because I've taken a full year to rejuvenate my body, not take those hits. And Le'Veon Bell's an outlier in my mind. Christian?
I never like guys sitting out. It's always a very awkward situation for me because, you take that time off for taking those hits, but you're not conditioning your body anymore. A lot of these guys don't work out how they're working out when the trainers aren't there. That's not saying Saquon and Josh Jacobs wouldn't be doing that. It's just, if you look at recent history, it almost never works in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, to follow up what Christian was saying about the exercise and the working out. When you are out and you miss time because of an injury, you're going to need to rehab. So you're going to be getting yourself back in shape. You want to get back in football shape, get back to your team. These guys who are forced to sit out or take the time out. I mean, look at what happened to Deshaun Watson. He looked terrible after all that time off, being forced to sit out. It's different when you're just sitting around waiting because you're mad about a contract. You're like, well, I'm not going to play this year. Your body might heal and everything, but I don't know if GMs are going to throw money at running backs who sit out a full year, even with their body healing a year older, when their whole thing right now is, well, I can draft somebody, pay him half that, less than half that, and let them run the ball. These guys I don't think sitting out is going to get them their money. I think both of them playing this season, even if they wait till week 1 or week 2, playing this season, showing their professionals, go out, have a good season. Hopefully they stay healthy. That's the only way they're going to get some decent money and like a 3 to 4 year contract next year.
Let's be honest.
Whoa, hang on. You can franchise a player more than once. Isn't it twice you can do it, Christian?
3 times.
3 times. So what?
I don't think it's 3 times, is it?
No, it is 3 times. That's what I thought. So
somebody look that up.
Why wouldn't the Giants and the Raiders just franchise for the next 3 years?
3 times.
There must be, because everything I'm hearing now is everyone's saying, well, if they play this season and they'll be looking at free agency next year. So I don't know about.
A lot of the reason they don't franchise them second or third time, you have to increase the pay by 20, then by 44, then by 60%.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So
Right.
it is a financial decision. You're going to be paying these guys almost close to $45 million.
Yeah, but you know what that
Yeah.
does? It allows the NFL team to evaluate their performance year by year. And if their performance falls off, they get to release them with no cost.
What performance did the Raiders need to see from Josh Jacobs? He led the league in rushing and in yards from scrimmage last year.
Do you remember early in the preseason when Josh Jacobs was carrying the ball 78 times a game? And people were asking the coach, why are you doing that to your leading running back? And he didn't have a good answer.
Yeah.
And then the best player on the team, besides their outstanding quarterback, Derek Carr, turned out to be Josh Jacobs. And then he's stuck in a position where now he has to sort of crawl on his hands and knees over glass to try to make it up to Josh Jacobs, and he can't. Hasn't this situation with both Saquon and Jacobs been just completely mishandled by both teams?
Yes. You know, these guys are not going to get the $30 million contracts anymore. Let's all be honest. Todd Gurley ruined the running back market in 2019 when he got that massive contract where he was getting paid.
Oh, let's not forget Ezekiel Elliott.
And yeah, Ezekiel Elliott as well. Todd Gurley was getting paid close to $38 million a season, and he couldn't run over 300 yards for the past 2 years. And he's officially retired, and they're still paying off that contract. That was fully guaranteed. They are not.
Sounds like a move the Raiders would have made. Just throwing it out there.
It became a mess for the entire running back, and it undervalued them. And it is the most interchangeable position in football. So these guys are not going to get paid $30 million.
You know, my argument would be Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, and a handful of others
CMC.
are that good, and they deserve the money. Maybe there's a tier below that, but if you're the Giants, pay freaking Barkley his money.
He's 26. Let's not forget, he's not 28.
Give him a 4-year contract with a
26
5th-year option and pay him $85 to $100 million and be done with it.
And the top 10 players at all the other big positions get paid the big money. Why not the top 10 guys at running back? They've earned it, and they're the best ones in this league.
You know what it is? The general managers don't want to look stupid. They don't want to sign a guy who starts to break down and goes Todd Gurley or Zeke Elliott on him.
I wouldn't pay a running back that much money.
Then they need to learn how to structure a contract differently when it comes to running back. Give them the money at least that on the contract that they're looking for, and have your way out at the year 2, 3, 4, whatever you sign them
with
to.
a team option, yeah.
There's got to be a way to do the contract where the guys are like, okay, well, as long as I'm performing this way, I'm going to get that money. But teams have a way out if these guys do fall off after the age 28, 29, 30.
Yeah, it's just it's a broken situation right now because the top running backs in the league are worth something and they can't get paid, and then there's everybody else and they shouldn't get paid the same amount of money because they're not superstars. They're just a guy. So, but it is absurd that there are kickers making more money than star running backs. That's just bizarre.
I believe Matt Gay's getting paid like close to $9-10 million a season.
That's
robbery.
That's so Matt Gay. All right. Jimmy G update, Jeremy.
I haven't heard much of anything, to be honest with you. Everything's kind of quiet as they're heading into training camp. I think we'll get a better idea, in about a week when everyone starts arriving. But I don't know. I really don't know what we're going to get out of Jimmy G as far as the offseason training camp or heading into the regular season.
Brock Purdy with the 49ers is ahead of schedule in his rehab and is supposed to be available at the beginning of training camp for all regular activities. And interestingly, Trey Lance, the rumors are, is now third on the depth chart behind Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, yeah.
If that's the case, they need to find a way to move that kid while they can, see if they can get something for him.
I think the Raiders is a great place for Trey Lance to get it. He's not going to be selling high, that's for sure. He's not going to get.
You know what? I can't think of a better team to take another crappy quarterback than the
It's
Las
only a
Vegas
chance,
Raiders.
and it's low risk, high reward if you really think about it. The worst you would give up is a 3rd round pick for him. In all honesty.
Absolutely,
And you get to play a couple of years behind Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Well, if he ever sees the field,
Yeah.
just throwing it out there. I mean, we don't know exactly.
No idea what's going on.
Real quick, this is my outlandish claim for the season. You can call me crazy, but if it works, I'm going to be praised for the rest of my life. If Brock Purdy starts week 1 and is as efficient as he was last season, that team goes 17-0.
1 minute.
Wow.
Not going to go 17-0, but I'm going to say
Bold.
if Brock Purdy is fully healthy, the 49ers are in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Niners versus Bengals. That's my pick for the Super Bowl already.
Yeah, and I'm with you too. The Bengals are. I think they're being slept on. Just me.
I remember the last time those two teams played. I hope it's better than that one in the Super Bowl. Wasn't that like 59-13 or something like that? Many years ago.
Gobble. Thanks, guys.
But I guess we're out. And you're muted, Christian. So I can't hear what you're saying. So
All
there
right.
we go.
Yeah, all right. There we go. I guess we're done. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. See ya.